Welcome back to Notes to My Nervous System, a podcast about better understanding your nervous system so you can move through hard moments with a little more calm and a lot less self-blame. I'm Erin, a mom, therapist, and creator of the Mind Circuit app. It's called Ease. It's a simple nervous system tool to help reset you during tough moments when your body needs support before your brain can catch up. Today, I'm so excited. We are joined by Anna, creator known for her honest voice around rest, self-acceptance, and letting go of that hustle culture. Anna's work invites people to soften their grip on productivity and reconnect with kindness towards themselves and others, while still living full, adventurous lives. Anna, so many people try to outwork their exhaustion before they ever even listen to it, and it usually catches up with them anyway. So that's where I would like to start. I want to start with that early chapter and what it was like for you.
Welcome, friends. I'm definitely going to do some bilateral stimulation later after all the mess ups. We are joined by the lovely Anna Przybylski, who has dealt with me for the past 18 minutes trying to figure out how to get this recorded. So I really appreciate it. She is a creator known for her honest voice around rest, self-acceptance, and letting go of the hustle culture. She's from the area that I'm up from. I'm in Chicago. I'm originally from Chicago, and you're in Michigan, right? Today, though, I really wanted to dive into what led you down the path of understanding that you had hit that exhaustion level and that you knew you needed to do something different. Because a lot of times when people hit that level, they're like, just work harder. You just have to hustle more. We're going to ignore it. And then we're going to completely burn ourselves out and not pay any attention to our bodies. You didn't do that. And so I'm curious.
Well, it doesn't happen overnight. There was a lot of back and forth and a lot of trying really hard to make it work. I am a recovering workaholic because I still have a lot of tendencies. Before the pandemic, I owned an event planning company, put on 32 large-scale events a year between 1,000 and 10,000 people. I worked 8 days a week, and that was my entire life. It was all that I knew. It was the plan that I had laid out for myself, literally, since the beginning. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get a degree. I'm going to get a job, and I'm going to work my way to the top. And that's what you do. Mm-hmm. And the pandemic hit, and our restrictions weren't lifted until June of 2021 in Michigan. Oh, wow. So we couldn't put on an event with over 25 people for over a year. And so essentially my whole life came to a screeching halt, and everything that I ever knew slammed into a wall at 300 miles an hour. And of course there was probably 3 months of dealing with fallout, because when you cancel 20 events on thousands of people, there is a lot of paperwork and a lot to deal with. But once that ended, it was kind of like, oh no. And I'd never been alone with myself before. I'd never been at home. I'd never had time to think about my life. And I had thought I would hate myself. All of the things that I had all of my value in were gone. My paycheck is gone, and being good at my job is gone. And all of these things were just gone. But I wasn't that sad. You're like, I am sad, right? Everything is bad, and I'm sad and scared. And it was kind of but I'm not really.
So you were
I kind of after a while, yeah. And it was just getting to do stuff was so foreign to me, just for fun, sitting in a chair outside. And we got hobbies. We started playing on an airsoft team on the weekends because it was outside in the woods. And in COVID, that was kind of all we could do. And it was just all these things that I've never done before, had time with myself, had time to sit at home. and kind of been like, I'm going to play a video game. Like, do you think this is all right? Do you think this is an okay thing for me to do?
Funny when you
And
the permission and then you're like, oh, wait, I'm the adult.
yeah, and I crashed so hard. And that would have eventually come. There's no way that would not have eventually come because of the way I worked myself into the ground the way that I did. But this was like, I had never felt an exhaustion like that. Like, I had never felt just like I couldn't do my job right now, even if it was there. I was like, oh, I am. So that was kind of, I didn't really realize what was going on, right? It's so scary because your whole life just flipped upside down. You've lost your job. You have time to be with yourself.
Yeah, and do you even know yourself?
Like,
Because you're just overworking so much.
Yeah, I was like, what do I like to do? I don't know. What are your interests? You're like, going to work, making coffee? I don't know. Yeah, I was like, all my friends are for my job. All the activities I do are work. And it was when we finally could go back to work that it all fell apart because I tried to go back to work and I was like, oh, I can't do it. Like, physically, my body was like, I'm so sorry to tell you this, but we can't do this anymore. And that was kind of the scariest realization of all. And then looking around, just being like, I think my whole life might have been a lie. Like, I think the system that I had all my value tied up in wasn't real. And this like workaholism wasn't making me a better person. Like, it did not make me like myself any better, especially when I tried to go back and I tried to put myself back in the box. And it was like, well, I don't fit in it. Like, I do not fit in this box anymore. And then you're just grappling with so much change at once. And it was just like, I have to change everything about my life because none of this fits anymore. And I can't do it. And I'm too tired. And I had to go back and forth on like, can I do this or can I not do this? What do I want out of my life? And it did take me 2 years to quit my job, but it was a lot of like
back and forth.
I have no idea who I am. Yeah.
So
I lost track of the question.
into this arena, giving people permission to be kind to themselves, not to beat them up. Was that something you were percolating during the 2 years? Did you know where you wanted to go with this?
No, I started posting online right about the time when I went back to work and when I realized I couldn't do it. And one of my first viral videos, I said, I don't want to do things. I want to do no things. Because that was like the main, like the overarching feeling I had inside me was just like, I don't want to. And I never even knew not wanting to do things was like an option because you're like, no, I go and I go and I go and I go until I can't anymore.
Westerners do. We don't.
Yeah. And yes. And I posted that video and the way people reacted to it to me was like blew my brain up because people were like, same. We also don't want to do things. And I was like, wait, you're not ashamed? I feel a lot of shame about not wanting to do things. But to see like 2 million people be like, yes, correct. We don't want to do things anymore. And I was just like, oh, you're all tired too? Like, it was this thing I'd never seen before. This like, oh, we're all miserable. And then I was, especially because I could still kind of feel that I liked myself. I was still kind of like, but I still find affection for me without all of the things I thought were important. And it was that like, I think I have to tell the others, like, because I think I better tell them. And so then that's what it was. It was kind of me like deconstructing little things along the way. Like the next thing I figured out was that like, I don't have a dream or a passion. And like at the time, it was like, I thought that I did because I was good at my job. But then coming to terms with like being good at things is not the same as enjoying doing them was like, oh God. I was like, have I ever done something that I enjoyed? Is everything I've ever done in my life just stuff that I've been good at? Have I ever done something just for myself? And I hadn't. And you're like, oh, good. That's not alarming at all. And that was like another one of my viral posts. It was like, I have no dreams. I have no identifiable passion. Like, oh my God, what do I do from here? And it just went like that. Like each little time I learned like a new huge lesson, it was like, hey, did you guys know this? And it was just me learning, and then getting to share that with people felt so important, because I never wanted anybody to have to feel how I felt. I never wanted anybody to, like, if I could stop somebody from going through like a lifetime of just hustle culture and that's it and nothing else, and choosing activities based on like, well, I'm good at it. You're like, I like snowboarding and you're like, do you though? And it's like, spoiler alert, I don't. I hate being cold, and it hurts when you fall. And like, there are all these things. And like, I ran in college, and then I ran for the first few months of the pandemic, and I, not like a normal person, like 30 miles, just like.
Nobody was chasing you?
No, just like running away from my life.
Oh, okay.
And, it's all these things. And I was like, do you like running? And I was like, sure don't. Sure don't. And you're just like, so I have no hobbies that aren't just things I happened to be good at. So that was like a huge thing to like come and be online and be like, hey, this is what's happening in my life. Is this happening to anybody else? And having people be like, yep. Like, we are also all struggling and all miserable and have no idea who we are. And it's obviously turned into this huge thing where, I mean, my main goal in life is to get people to slow down. I'm like, hey, you're going too fast. I don't even know what speed you're going at, but I know that it's too fast. Like, your body at some point is going to lose it. And I still do it all the time. Like, I had to reschedule this podcast with you because I burnt myself into the ground. As my best friend texted me this morning, she goes, Anna, you took your candle and instead of lighting it, you threw it into a volcano. And I think that's the perfect metaphor for the first 34 years of my life, is like, do you want to do things normal, or do you want to throw yourself into a volcano all the time? And I was like, well, if I throw myself into a volcano all the time, everyone will be impressed with me and like me. Mm-hmm. And you're just like, what a long, exhausting life that was. And so that was another thing, is like coming to terms with like, people might not like me anymore, because I am going to be this like very pro rest, very pro walking away from the things that don't add anything to your life. And that's a big thing to ask of somebody. But literally one of my favorite things that people message me now is like, I finally quit my job because of you. And I'm like, I'm really proud of you. I know that a lot of people probably hate that I inspired that in you. Like, but it was that beginning of the pandemic when I was grappling with, do I love my job or not? And going back and forth. And I had told my therapist, I said, I really think it would be so, I was like joking though, right? I was like, it would be so much easier to walk away. And she goes, what's wrong with doing the easier thing? And I was like, no, I was joking. I was making like it would be so much easier to walk away, but of course I can't. And she was just like, why? And then my whole brain exploded. And it's kind of been like that with everything in my life. And it's like, well, I have to do this. Why? Oh, I never asked. I never stopped to ask.
No,
like,
you just assume you have to follow these arbitrary rules and show up the way you're supposed to because you don't want to make anybody uncomfortable.
Yeah. And like, it's so weird to me that the norm is overachieving.
I know. Oh my God. I graduated high school early. I graduated college early. I did 21 credit hours. I've done it all early. I don't know why. I'm not better off financially.
Yeah, it didn't do it. Like, it didn't help my life to take 18 credits as a freshman in college who was also running track and cross country and indoor track and like, and has like a major and a minor. And you're like, what came from that? Nothing. I burnt out in the end.
I got 2 majors, 2 minors. I went and got a master's. I worked for Chicago Public Schools, completely burnt myself out.
Yeah. And it's so crazy how long it takes once you do slow down. Like, I always say, like, it's an object in motion that stays in motion. But once I had stopped, like there was no going back. And people would be like, okay, but how long does it take? And I was like, well, I'm like 3 years in and I still don't feel recovered, because it's not just that week or that month or that day, or it's your life. You're recovering from a life. You're from first grade on, always doing the above and the beyond for 35, 40 years. And I know so many people just like that. And now they're exhausted. And you're like, hey, welcome to the we don't want to do things club. My sweater on the back says I'm burnt the fuck out. And it's like, yes, correct. But I guess I then just kind of wanted to be that person who could be like, hey, this is okay and normal to like be exhausted and to take time off and to take a break and to stop what you're doing for a second.
Did you hit moments where you felt like you were questioning what you were doing, or was it going to be successful or not, or what the hell is success for you?
Oh, every day. Because I jumped with no parachute. I quit my job with no guaranteed income on the, like, because I had to. I was like, I cannot do both of these things. And I'm very passionate about one of them. And I'd never had a passion before. So it was like, hey, I really want to tell people to slow down. I really want to make this into a thing. I want to make people feel less alone. I never want someone to feel like no one else is going through what they're going through. And even in my comedy show, which is like, or is not like what I do online, but it is still just like this experience where you get to hang out with me, where I tell you about my life and we laugh about it. And then afterwards, everyone's like, that was exactly like my life. And you're just like, I know. And I think it really fits as a comedy show where I'm like, this was all so ridiculous. Like the way that I went through my life was ridiculous, and to the point where we can giggle about it for an hour. And so it's like that. No, but I have no idea what I'm doing ever. I don't know where my next paycheck comes from. I don't know if I'm going to lose my head, but I feel like I trust myself to make it work. It's never not worked out before, even when everything's fallen apart, when I lost my job in the pandemic and like all these things that I was so afraid of happening, my whole life falling apart, which was literally just losing your job. In my mind, that is your whole life falling apart.
Yeah.
And I was fine. I mean, not great, but I was alive. My bills were paid. I was making it work in little fun ways. And I just trusted that I would make it work. And then to the point where even it's like, I have to prioritize taking care of myself, to the point where like, if I have to sell my house, okay, we change our means and we live within our new means. And whatever it was, I just knew that I had to do it I had to do it my way, and I had to do these things that I wanted to do. And now it's an everyday thing, but I get to honor my boundaries every day. I get to live my life for myself. I get to say, not today. And I get to be the example and practice what I preach. And I don't know, hopefully help people know that like they can really slow down a little bit. And we all die, like not in a mean way, but like that's the end. The end is you die. So
I don't want to race towards that.
What's the rush? Where are you going? And the other thing that I really have loved hearing from people, and it's so funny because it makes me sound like I'm like a anti have a job person, and I'm not. I have 1,000 jobs. I am just, if you are content in your life, or like, I will hear from people all the time. They're like, I got put up for a promotion and I didn't take it. And I say, I love that. Because it's like, why? They're like, I didn't want more work. I don't want to do more. I'm content with the amount of money I make now. I have no desire to like have more responsibility than I have now. And it's like, yeah, because if that had been me previously, or that person who I had not spoken to previously, it's like, you get offered a promotion and you take it.
Of course. There's no thought
because
there.
that's what you want. And I mean, I always tell this as like my cautionary tale. I'm like, okay, well, I made it to the top. Like, I owned the company, I had the cars, I had the house, I had the life. And what that looked like was I had a house to cry in, I had a bed to cry in, I had a car to cry in at the parking lot at the job I cried at. You're like, what? That's the goal? That's what we're aiming for?
But
And it's like,
so
yeah, but it's one of those things when you're like,
though, like
I know. I did it.
it's so hard. Like, I'm a mental health therapist, and when I'm working with clients and we're processing some heavy shit like trauma, it's hard to have people take themselves out of whatever narrative it is that they built about themselves, whatever story it is that they've put themselves into this box, and this is who they are, whether they like it or not, whether they want to be in it or not. And it is so difficult to get people to see that actually you could make a different choice. Now, there's no guarantee how it's going to work out, but you could do something different, even though it's scary.
And that's the other thing. I say sometimes, and this was very real in my case, I said all the time I didn't know what I wanted, but that wasn't true at all. I knew what I wanted, but it was too scary.
Oh.
Like, to be like, I don't want to do this job. I want to go off on my own and try things on my own and see what happens. But that was such an unbelievable, that wasn't a choice. That's not a choice.
That's what we
it
tell
is
ourselves, but it is.
I know. But for so long, I was like, no, that's not a real choice. I can't say that out loud. That's until I did it. And I was like, oh my God, I just did it. And then again, my life didn't end. It's almost been 2 years now. Everyone at my work was worried about me. Are you sure you're going to be okay? Like, without a paycheck? And like, I was like, yeah, I think I will. Like, my credit card debt flows crazy now because my income is so inconsistent. But I never have to do anything I don't want to do. The regular things, paying your bills and all that. But like, in general, that's what I want for everybody. Like, when I get to experience like a show or having a viral video, which like people ask what that's like, and no matter what, it's cool. Like, it doesn't like get old, and getting to talk to people and getting to do my content, be online and have that be my job. It really is just cool. And I don't ever have to wake up and be like, I have to do this thing that I'm dreading, because then I wouldn't do it. And that always sounded like a fake thing to me. But now it's my life.
That's really cool, though. And you're inspiring so many people.
I hope so. That's the goal. It wasn't the goal in the beginning. I had no goal. My goal was just to like get things off my chest and hope to help one other person if they were going through the same thing I was going through. But that's the main thing. It's like the second I would learn something new or come.
But that's so important, that piece right there, the connection that you're speaking about. Because so many times we will be in our heads thinking, oh, it's just me.
Yeah.
And that always stops us. You reaching out to people, it's perfect. It lets everybody know.
Yeah. It's very funny. I had somebody ask me once, they were like, well, what if I do want the promotion? And I was like, I want you to have what you want. I want you to have what makes you happy. And like, maybe that is climbing the corporate ladder. Like, I don't get to say what that thing is for you. I just want you to go into every decision you make with like, is this a thing that I'm doing to improve my own life? Like, is this a thing that's going to make me happier? Is this something that I'm excited about? And like, of course you can of course you can. And so I think the message, it's just like, oh my gosh, I want you to make the decisions in your life with you in mind. Not, is my mom going to be impressed with this? Will my dad finally love me? Like, it's like, what? Don't think about them. It's like, this is your life, by the way. You're the only person who has to spend every single day of your life with you. What do you want?
But it's so true. And 100 years from now, is anybody going to remember that you did something embarrassing or not? No. So just do it.
And then like, also people will be like, how do you have it all together? And I'm like, oh, I don't. The day my book came out, I bawled my eyes out because my mom didn't call me. And you're just like, no, I'm a normal person. Of course I'm doing it for me, but I still want all of the things we all want.
Well, of course, everybody wants to be appreciated and shown love and value. And I mean, we're all human.
Yeah.
But it sounds
Yes.
like you have taken this as a way to fuel yourself, to keep moving forward, to try different things, to really test yourself.
Yeah, and I lived most of my life terrified to try anything. And except for the thing that I knew was the thing I was supposed to do. And now I'm terrified of everything I do. And people will be like, "Oh, is it scary?" And I'm like, "Yes." I'm so scared, but I'm not miserable. So there's like, they get to exist together.
That's important, though. A lot of people,
Yeah.
we get in our own way. And this whole capitalist society, it keeps feeling like it's crumbling. And I'm like, are we like in the dark ages and the Renaissance is coming? So I just gotta hold on.
Well, it's not a sustainable model of a society. It's and everyone's going to experience it at some point. I just jumped ship early. I said, I'm getting out of here.
Good for you. The level of trust it takes. Not a lot of people trust themselves like that. Do you have an idea of where that came from?
It came from, it was that it's never not worked out before. It's that was it. And I said the same thing to my husband before I was ready to do it for myself, like before I was ready to take the leap myself. And he had quit his job because I said the same thing. He's like, "Well, I can't quit my job." And I was like, "Yes, you can." And he said, "What do you mean?" I said, "It's never not worked out for us before. Has it? Like, do we have a roof over our head? And like, is it sometimes harder than other times? Sure. But it's never not worked out yet. Like, we're still here." And I don't know. Watching my parents never. I did not turn out like them, okay? That's the other thing. I have never seen my parents once question if they could or couldn't do something. They both just like knew they could do everything on planet Earth. But they were so impressive. It was so terrifying.
Yeah.
Because in my life, I knew like I was never going to be that successful. Like that was like, oh God, I'm never going to be a doctor and I'm never going to like build what it is. And that's okay.
Yes, it is okay. And I love that approach of yours of it's okay, because I'm so tired of just not being happy or fulfilled and just kind of like going through life.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That is, yeah. When you stop, like when I stopped and looked at my life and I was like, oh no, I went through the motions for the whole thing. It's like that. Have you seen the movie Click? Like,
yes,
when he fast forwarded through all the stuff he doesn't like. And I was like, I literally fast forwarded through my life and I was in a hurry to get where? I was in this lifelong race with myself to like success. And success didn't change my life, but choosing to be happy did. I've never not made something happen if I wanted it to happen.
Okay, so you're stubborn. You don't give up.
Yeah. And I'd done it for all the wrong things.
Oh.
So it was finally this like shot to be like, what if you put all that energy you've been using your whole life to do things that you didn't even care about on stuff you care about? Yeah.
It is scary, but I feel like you've created a community where we can actually voice these things.
Yeah. And also, if I fail, I just try again.
Exactly. I can't tell you how many times I've screwed up things, failed, had to pivot until I've gone in a circle.
Yeah. Yes. It's like, yeah, of course I'm going to fail at stuff, especially on the internet where the whole thing is a fickle house of cards that could fall at any moment. And I just trust that I could come up with something else. But I don't want to go back to work. I keep seeing it. I work all the time, but I mean, I don't ever want to go back to an office. I don't think it suited me. I think I felt so stifled my whole life because I was a creative person who wanted to be a creative person but wasn't allowed to be a creative person, who was like, when you want to go to art school and your parents are like, no, you can't go to art school. That's silly. And finally being like, no, I am an artist and that's who I want to be. But of course, that's going to look like a million different things. It's going to be I write a book and I have a daily show and I tour comedy and get to do my own thing. But it is going to be, I always say, like, they had a point when they said don't do the arts. You're like, yeah, it's a challenge for sure.
Oh,
And I am a little glad that I didn't try it when I was younger. I think I would have been very discouraged. But I'm at this place now where it's like, I fail, I try again.
you just reach a point in life where I feel like, I don't know, it's just easier to say screw it to things.
Yes. Yeah. Be like, I don't want to, so I'm not going to, which is like the most radical thing in the world.
Yes. I don't always remember to do that, but when I do, I always feel so much better.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting?
Crazy, right?
It's like when I take care of myself and I feel better.
It's incredible.
You're like, wait, you drank some water and rested and ate food and you feel better? That's incredible.
Shocking. Well, before I lose you, can I ask you one last question?
Of course.
Thank you. I always ask this because I think it's important for us to be able to share our wisdom with those listening. And so, what would you tell your younger self if you could tell your younger self one thing? A statement, a question. And younger could be a year ago, 10 years ago.
Yeah. I used to hate this question, and I don't hate it as much anymore.
I used to hate it
Because,
too.
yeah, because the overarching thing that I would say is whatever it is, it can change. The plan, the job, the boy, the whatever it is, it can change. Like, you're not stuck. I felt so stuck in my life because it all felt like this is the way it has to go. And it's just like, no. I remember even just because I got to do it because my cousin, she's a senior in college now, but when she was choosing a college, everybody was coming at her from every direction, like, go here, go here, go here. And I, instead of doing that, I was like, hey, Maggie, just know that this choice doesn't matter. Like, it does and it doesn't. If you make the wrong choice, you make another one. Like, if it's the wrong school for you, you can stop going there. If it's the wrong sorority, you can drop it. I was like, and I wish in my life somebody had been like, you can just, it can change. You can change your mind. The path can change. It can change constantly. It can change every day. I just think I didn't know that. I didn't know you could just change the plan.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that would have taken so much pressure off of me at any point in my life. Like, you don't, yeah, you're like, you don't have to run track forever. You don't have to. And you don't, it's just like all these things you're like, well, I have to. I have to. I have to. For what? Why?
Mm-hmm.
And it can change and it will change. That's the other thing. Not only can it change, it's going to. You don't really get a say in that either. Yeah.
I appreciate that. There's somebody listening right now who needs to hear that. So,
Oh, it can change. Yeah.
thank you for taking time to do this and dealing with all the hiccups and craziness that happen.
Hey, that's life.
Life is messy these days, I tell you.
It is. Yeah. And I mean, the world is crumbling in front of our very eyes. I think the least I can do is tell everybody to take a load off.
Oh, thank you so much. I am going to go back to my other job and go be a therapist. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much.
This conversation is a reminder that rest and aliveness aren't opposites. They're partners, and the nervous system needs them both to feel at home. Before you go, I want you to take a brief pause. I want you to notice your breath, your feet on the floor, the surface supporting you. Nothing to change, nothing to fix. Just letting your nervous system register that in this moment, safe is enough. If this episode helped you feel even a little more steady, that matters. Small moments of regulation support resilience over time. Thank you again for listening to Notes to My Nervous System. If this resonated with you, please subscribe, leave a review. It helps others find our work. And if you want more gentle resets, check out the Mind Circuit app. It's called Ease. It's in the Apple Store and Google Play. It's a short, evidence-based practice to support your nervous system when life feels a little too loud. Thanks again for being here, and please be kind to your own wiring.